Good morning. It's 21st of May. Beautiful sunny morning after a load of cold weather, and guess what? It's swarm time. There we are, look at that. Absolute beautiful swarm. Quite a big one too. So I'm sticking this straight in a hive. I've got my last hive. There you go. I've even dragged out some old frames that have got honey on it, and trying to give it a really good start. So I've got my white sheet on the floor, as you can see. I've got my hive in the middle and the bees are all up there, but I can't film me shaking them until I get the branch down, so I'm going to leave it like that, and then you can watch them, hopefully not messing around too much. And when I get them off the branch, I'll do some bit more close up of them going in. So let's see how we get on. Look at that. Now, hopefully, a lot will go in the hive and they'll reorientate. I've got a marked queen in this one, so I'm not too worried. I might be able to find her or see her as she goes in. What a spectacular... Right, here we go. Lots of mess everywhere. Whoa, that is a massive swan. Let's see if we can see the queen if she goes in. She might well be in this slot here. She might well take to the air. She might well bugger off with a whole lot of them. And I expect there'll probably be a virgin or two in this. Let's see if we can see Madame. The beauty of hiving swarms that have come from your own apiary is actually seems to be more akin to going back into a hive. So let's put these frames back in here. These are old frames I had that I've just reconditioned. Use up the resources wisely. Oh, they're all doing something. I think they're all marching in. Yeah, they're all on a march, but they're going up the side of the hive. We'll get there in the end. I've given them, as I say, a couple of frames of old ivy honey from last summer that I put into the hive, so here they go. They're all orientating to the front and they're all starting to fan. Problem with virgin queens is a lot of them, because they've not got their full pheromone and they're not really developed, a lot of them tend to be a bit indecisive, and they obviously have got to then engulf and mate as well. So you've got all these bees as a colony without a mated queen, and this time of year, or any time of year in the summer, the chances of getting a mated queen back in the hive are always fraught with danger. And unfortunately I haven't got any spare queens at the moment. However, I might have a nuke that's got one. I've got a couple of mated queens in a nuke colony, so that will do if I'm desperate. But I don't want to lose this colony of bees because it's so nice and big that this will give me honey in a few weeks' time when the nectar flow starts. Because I'll feed them like mad, I'll build them up. They'll fill this hive in about less than 5 days. I'll draw up all those frames, and fingers crossed we'll have a colony that will give me honey. But they're all going in. It's a huge swarm. What I want them to do is really go in via the front, because then I can go off for the day and leave them and move this further over out the way. I've got to, here they go, they're going around now. I've closed off the top, so the ones that were nasenoffing at the top, I've now moved to the front. I don't know if you can see that at the front there. You can, if I try and show you on the camera, nasenoffing is when these ones standing at the front actually lift up their bottoms and they produce this scent called nasenoff, and it's the come here, it's alright gland. It's like a gland that gives us smell. And I think I've just spotted a virgin queen in there. There she is. There's a virgin there, right at the front. There she is. Where's she gone now? Hopefully she'll go in and bring the others in. Don't know if you saw her there. So I'll try and film it. There she is there, look. There's a virgin there. So that's a good sign. We know we've got a virgin queen in this colony. There she goes, look, she's hiding. There she is. These bees are lovely when they're swarming. There she goes in there, look, there she's gone in. Great. So that's what, there might be several virgins in the swarm though. And she'll go off and mate in a few days' time. Hopefully we'll have some decent weather and she'll be able to mate fairly quickly. I suppose you could say the result is we do have a mated queen that's ready to go mate. We don't have to wait for a queen cell to hatch, which has happened already. So I'm just going to move these bees a little bit. I'm just going to brush them over a bit. But anyway, they'll take their time, but I want to move them soon, so I'm just going to give them a bit of a hand. I haven't got my bee brush with me. I'm totally unorganised here. There we are. As long as you move them and you don't damage any as you move, you're very gentle, you can actually move a lot of them quickly. The beauty of having a white sheet ready is if you do this on a grassy area, which invariably you end up doing, you can lose a lot of bees. It just takes a lot longer for them to make their way into a hive. So we've also got drones here. These are the males that are always carried in a swarm. I don't know if you can see that. That's the male there with the big eyes, and he's going to be available, produced in the colony during the summer to go off and mate with other queens that might need mating. Every colony produces some, and he'll fly to a drone congregation area mid-afternoon and then hopefully mate with a queen that will need mating. So they're absolutely no use in the hive whatsoever apart from mating with queens. And in the winter they'll get kicked out, usually late summer. Because all they do is eat honey, and the queen knows they're a waste of space, basically. Typical males, you might say, all the girls out there. You've got to look at a swarm as a resource. Even if you didn't get honey from it this year, these bees will draw up another 10 frames. They'll fill the hive with honey, and if I want to, I could split this into make 3 or 4 colonies for the autumn, so that next year I'd have 3 or 4 colonies I could sell or put in other colonies. So where that tree, where the swarm was up here, there's almost certainly a fair bit of queen pheromone on that branch. So it's going to take them a few hours just to reorientate to here. But they are flying around here and they're looking for the queen. They can smell the nasonov that's coming off these bees. So they're not particularly worried. They're all floating down nicely. They're not aggressive. They're completely docile. Which is what you get when you get bees swarming. Because they know they've got nothing to protect. There's no eggs, there's no brood, there's no colony to protect. All they've got is their queen. And they know they're more used to the queen alive than they are dead, so they're not stingy. The size of hive you can use is purely up to you, and you've got to remember that these bees won't start producing more bees, or bees that they brought up, for 21 days at least. That's if the queen started laying today, because it's 21 days from egg to hatching out. So in reality it's going to be more like a month, because the queen's got to start laying, they've got to build comb. There's no comb, there is a bit of comb in there, so yes, technically she could lay today, but it's unlikely. She'll be 3 or 4 days, because when queen bees swarm, usually the queen will actually reduce in size a little bit so she can fly, so she's leaner. So that's one of the ways you can spot that your hive's going to swarm, because the queen stops laying 2 or 3 days before. But not always. It's about that, but different times, different things to different colonies. This whole thing is just absolutely full of the smell of nasonov. It's just the most wonderful smell. It's really sweet and light, and it's kind of got that feeling of summer and spring, and it just gives you that great feeling, really. Because you never get swarms in the winter when the weather's pouring with rain and it's terrible. Can you just see those bees fanning?